Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about graphing absolute value equations. So a quick recap as to what absolute value is. Remember that the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on the number line. And understanding that will help us know what the shape of the absolute value equation looks like on a coordinate plane. If I plug in respectively the value of x such as 4, y will also be 4. If I plug in a negative value such as negative 14, y will be positive 14. If you plug in 0, y is also 0. That is the one catch. Whatever you're plugging in, whether it be positive or negative, your y value will be positive for this case. And of course, plugging in 0 will give you 0 as well. For this video in particular, we're going to talk about what the shape of the absolute value graph looks like, and then we'll talk about something called translations. So let's go ahead and take a look at this shape, because this is kind of like what our graph will look like. It's a V. And here's what that looks like on the coordinate plane right here, plugging in respectively -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 for those values of x. So we'll talk about translations in this video and the next one. So what are translations? A translation is a shift of a graph, whether it be horizontal or vertical or sometimes both. The result of the graph will give you the same shape and size. It'll just be in a totally different position. Could be higher, could be lower, and again to the left or to the right of where we originally started from. For this video in particular, we'll just do vertical translations. So we'll only move our graph up or we'll move it down. Let's take a look at one where we're moving our graph up. Here we have the graph of the absolute value of x. Going to use a different color to show you a vertical translation of this graph, but shifted up. So let's move it up 2 units. And this is how we know that we're doing a vertical translation. We're going to have our function, or our equation rather here, the absolute value of x, and then it'll say plus a number, in this case plus 2. So we're going to take the absolute value of our x value, so we'll start with 0. Absolute value of 0 is 0, add 2 to that, and you now have the new point 2 units higher. And essentially every value of x I plug in will be 2 units higher from its original graph. Plugging in 1 and -1 as well will result in a value of positive 3. And I'll do one more. Plugging in 2 and -2 will give me a value of 4. So it's the same shape and size, it's just now in a different position. And that is what our translated graph looks like. The one right here shows you the absolute value of x, and then the one directly above it shows you the graph of the absolute value of x plus 2. That's a vertical translation up. Let's take a look at one where we have a vertical shift going down. Here again is the graph of y equals the absolute value of x. Let's take this graph and we'll shift it down 4 units. So in this other color, we're going to do y equals the absolute value of x. And now all we're going to do is take 4 away from whatever we get for the absolute value. So if I plug in 0, it's going to be 0, -4. Right here. Every single value on this graph will now be 4 units lower because of that translation. And right over here. All right. Again, same shape, same size, just different position. This shows you the graph of y equals the absolute value of x minus 4, and then here was the original y equals the absolute value of x. This takes care of vertical translations. In the next video, we will look at horizontal translations. Are we going to go left or are we going to go right? Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.